Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak to you today and to share the World Bank experience on building connectivity through public-private collaboration, which answers the question that was, put on the table for me. We are all understand that investment needs for digital connectivity are enormous, and achieving digital universality is not an overnight task. There is no country, neither a single firm, that can achieve that alone. And our experience in the World Bank is that the strength of the partnerships translates into the strength of the impact on the ground. I'd like to organize my intervention around three main parts. The first one is to provide a framing to the discussion by reminding us why it is key to continue investment in digital connectivity. The second one is to talk about the 3C initiatives and why regional initiatives like this one are important to contribute to the goal of connectivity. My last point is to offer few thoughts from our own experience in the bank. So the first point is we should always uh, remember why investing in digital connectivity is very important. And Her Excellency the President really mentioned it earlier. Investment in connectivity is attractive because of the gains of the economy, especially in the context of recovery from COVID. Connectivity now more than ever takes an increasingly important position in our lives. Digital connectivity has helped and is helping countries, individuals, and businesses emerge from restrictions, respond to challenges that the restriction of the physical world really imposed on us through the COVID-19 pandemic. Research on the effects of digitization on the economic impact of the pandemic is still scarce. However, initial evidence, learning from prior epidemics, and wider dialogue reveals that countries with advanced digital connectivity and digital services adoption across the economy can mitigate up to 50% of the negative long term impacts of the pandemic. We can look at it from the country level, from the individual level, or from the firm level. We look at, there was a COVID 19 Business Pulse survey done by the World Bank covering 51 countries. Around 34% of firms have increased or started to use the internet or social media or digital platforms in response to the crisis. However, those that did not have access to connectivity, those that did not have capacity to pivot to digitally enabled service delivery, or those who are operating in restrictive digital enabling environment have been severely negatively impacted by the pandemic. So investing in digital development is key for economies to build back better from the ongoing crisis. Investment in economy-wide digitization doesn't only drive growth, but also build resilience to shocks, whether we talk about natural disasters, pandemic, or economic shocks. There is another important dimension that usually is not very much emphasized. That is the importance of digital access as an equalizer of opportunities. Expanding digital access and investing in digital public and private service delivery can allow for improved access to opportunities for otherwise at risk population. That's an important point, and it answers the question why it's important to continue investing in digital. So, in that context, what are the opportunities for the 3C initiative countries? The 3C countries can leverage their access to marine routes, to contiguous land borders, and being part of an economic union to benefit from global trends in the digital connectivity and services market. If we look at the international digital connectivity segment, it is showing no signs of slowing down, with forecasts estimating that global international used bandwidth will grow at an annual growth rate of over 40% till 2025. And within those trends, Europe is a key destination for international traffic from Asia, from Africa, from the Middle East, from the USA or Canada. International connectivity within Europe between European countries is expected to grow at an annual growth rate of 34% between 2020 and 2027. So it's an important market for the three Cs countries to continue focus on. Look at large content providers. We can talk about, Facebook or Google or Amazon, Microsoft or Apple. They're investing in international submarine infrastructure and hyperscale data centers globally to create a vast interconnected network. So these investments are driven by the need to be closer to consumer centers to offer higher quality service to end users. And projection today estimate that content providers will continue to grow as the largest user of international bandwidth, which could account to 75% of used international bandwidth globally. So this provides a very good opportunity for the three Cs countries to collaborate to attract such investments into the region. The other element of connectivity that is important as we think about the 3Cs initiative is the possibility to create new digital connectivity routes between Europe and other regions, including surrounding developing countries. While traditional submarine routes continue to be a very important option for interregional traffic, we see now a movement to look for alternative terrestrial routes to offer redundancy and reduce the load on already crowded choke points of global networks. So connecting Europe to Asia and the Middle East via the South Caucasus can emerge as an alternative to submarine routes. The European Commission has also announced plans to support physical and digital connectivity across the Black Sea, recognizing the potential for deepening digital transport energy connectivity between Europe and the Eastern Partnership countries. The three Cs countries will be key in realizing such investment. Connectivity is only one part of it when we look at the opportunities, because there is also the issues related to the application side, especially when we look at trade, when we look at logistics, and when we look at supply chain management. So these sectors are often at the forefront of technological adoption. Think about single window trade, customs clearances, IoT solution for shipment tracking, artificial intelligence based route optimization. So it's an important angle to think about beyond the connectivity, how the trade and seamless connectivity across borders, enabling environment that facilitates integration and interoperability of these solutions across sovereign territory. Adopting a collaborative approach towards linear infrastructure development across the three Cs countries can not only help with improved capital allocation, but also support a more green and resilient approach to infrastructure investment. For example, infrastructure sharing can reduce the financing needs as well as the environmental impact of infrastructure development. So let's get to the third and the last point of my intervention. What does it need? What do we need to do to capture all these opportunities? First is policy leadership. This is key. Time-bound, target-driven sector development strategies provide excellent policy anchors to signal public sector support and policy direction. They signal intent, consistency of policy direction, and provide a certain level of predictability that is necessary to attract patient capital. The second point on the policy front is the importance of harmonization of sector strategies across the three Cs countries. It can further improve collaboration opportunities of sector stakeholders and increase the potential for partnerships and international infrastructure development projects. Such policy leadership and consistency and open communication between the public and the private sector can greatly improve trust in the ecosystem. A unified view towards linear infrastructure development is important. It can significantly reduce cost of infrastructure development, improve resilience, and free up capital for further expansion of the network. The second point is pushing for stronger public and private collaboration. It is key. It is very important. While the investment gap poses a challenge, it can only be seen as an opportunity to mobilize private sector capital if supported by clear policy direction and leadership, a positive digital enabling environment, and strategic co-investment. Cooperation between the public and private sector is foundational if this investment challenges is to be converted into investment opportunity. This includes proactive, periodic consultation with digital infrastructure owners to inform policymaking, supporting industry association, develop international partnership, and identifying potential investment projects for co-financing and co-investment. The private sector is key in achieving the government's policy objectives. There are many examples globally of synergetic relationship between the public and the private sector in expanding digital infrastructure. Innovative models such as reverse auction subsidies and others to fill visibility gaps have emerged as efficient solutions to mobilize private capital to achieve universal access objective. Developing and maintaining a positive and predictable digital enabling environment is key to attracting investment in the sector. It's not just the enabling environment around the digital sector, it's also the broader ecosystem around it, whether we talk about the ease of doing business and other elements that are determinant to private sector investment, especially and more importantly when this entails cross-border infrastructure investment. So if we think about public financing, there is of course room for that, but it should be used very strategically to mobilize the private sector. The World Bank has done a report not long ago where we looked at 70 business models of financing approaches to close the access gap and expand fiber optic networks and look at doing this within public and private collaboration approach. This can not only apply to expanding digital infrastructure to currently unconnected communities, but also for international connectivity or middle mile networks. Black Sea submarine connectivity is attracting significant attention recently, particularly with the potential to connect to Central Asia via the Caspian Sea in the near future. However, in the meantime, connecting to Europe via the Black Sea provides traffic from the Middle East an alternative to traditional routes, which in some cases are congested and risk disruption and has high transit cost. So in closing, ongoing regional and global digital growth provides 3Cs countries with multiple opportunities to collaborate, to build new digital routes within and outside Europe, joint effort to improve the enabling environment and to push for joint regional initiative can attract the private sector capital across the broadband value chain, as well as in digital services to support economy-wide digitization. There is definitely a digital leapfrogging story that can happen, and the political leadership we see today clearly shows that we are heading there. Thank you very much for your attention.